His execution date is slated for October 16th. This is the shaken baby syndrome case. He's convicted of killing his 2-year-old child.
Yeah, so attorney Jeremy Rosenthal joined us this week to talk about it.
What's different this time around is that he is actually pointing to evidence of innocence as compared to the shaken baby abusive head trauma narrative is junk science. In other words, his appeals before were like, you can't rely on shaken baby, you can't rely on this diagnosis anymore. This new evidence that he's presented in 2025 is, I've got an alternative theory of how this happened. They point to an infection, they point to a bleeding disorder. They've got 10 pathologists who have sort of signed off on the process was really flawed. They're coming at it with a lot more.
So how does that change what happens between now and October 16th? Does that change anything in the actual halting of the execution, or is that just on how they're proceeding long term?
I think if the Court of Criminal Appeals thinks that he's innocent, I think they'll save his life. If they don't think he's innocent, either they won't rule at all, or they'll issue an opinion saying that. It's a little unusual that they don't want to seek clemency. When you apply for clemency and when you accept clemency, you are accepting guilt. I get it. That's not what they want to do. They're claiming innocence. And maybe this is kind of their way at thumbing their nose at the board of pardons and paroles, maybe even by extension Greg Abbott. But look, all they can tell you is no, right? So that part's a little unusual to me.
Well, oftentimes when cases get a lot of attention, there are more resources that can be applied to a case. But the thing I think of in this one is, why would they not have made this argument before? Like, why would they not have come up with this other stuff before? This happened back in 2003. Now, this case has got a lot of attention in the last, 6 months or a year or so. And hey, I guess throw anything on the wall and see if it sticks, right? Is it that? Or did something else happen in the last year?
I think the fire's just getting hotter, and when that happens, that's when you start getting Dr. Phil to show up at the legislature. That's when you start kind of drawing some more of the eyeballs, and with that probably becomes more people who come out of the woodwork and say, well, what about this? Well, what about that? So I think that's probably a little bit of what you're seeing here. Also, the science is evolving a little bit. This new, it's called a writ of habeas corpus. This new writ does have a little more oomph to it. But I don't know that the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals is quite there. They have reversed on shaken baby, and they've also sustained convictions on shaken baby. So I don't know that the Court of Criminal Appeals is quite there yet. But this case presents as extremely unique. And again, I just don't know what you have to lose by seeking clemency. All they can tell you is no.
Right. Yeah. And October 16th is the execution date as of now. So what do you expect over the next 2 weeks to happen?
I think you're going to see obviously a big uptick in coverage about it. I think we're going to learn a little more about it. Like I said, I think if the Court of Criminal Appeals wants to save this man's life, I think they'll do it. I think if they don't, they won't. And this could be it. I mean, anytime you're facing that execution date, it's as dire as it sounds. And I know the lawyers are upset that Ken Paxton has kind of stepped in. That's, as a lawyer, that's kind of the hand that you're dealt. Sometimes you just have to deal with, right, when you're playing Super Mario Brothers and you get to the top level, you're going to have to beat the big nasty dragon. That's how it works.
Now, the saga rolls on for sure. Thank you so much for explaining. Very helpful stuff. Legal expert Jeremy Rosenthal, TexasDefenseFirm.com. Jeremy, thanks as always.
Have a great morning, guys.